The 3-month forecast is in and updated, and we're going to take you through July and the start of fall, if you can believe that. But let's start with July and the pattern that's setting up here. We have the jet stream way to the north. That's going to keep the cold air locked up there. Meanwhile, it is going to stay dry across the west, and that means the drought is going to persist. We have high pressure setting up off the east coast. That's going to keep that tropical moisture flowing right into the eastern half of the U.S., and that's important when it comes to temperatures because it's important regarding soil moisture. All right, let's talk about the impact of soil moisture and temperatures. Extremely dry moisture here, soil moisture in the west. We have the drought, we have the fires. It does not take as much energy to heat up dry air as it does to heat up moist air. And what that in turn does, keeps the moisture areas on the cooler side. And that's exactly what we have for the July forecast. Colder than average temperatures for much of the east, including the mid-Atlantic and the southeast, while the west continues to be much warmer than average. Will this pattern continue in for the rest of the summer and into the fall? I want to bring in our Dr. Greg Postel with more on that. Greg.
Well, thanks, Maria. And I think the pattern that you showed that we expect in July will likely continue on into August, with the greatest chance for warmer than average conditions likely in the west. Let's have a look at our graphics and show you where I think that's going to be. Is out here generally west of the Continental Divide. That's where the big heat will likely be in place in August. We do have some cooler than average conditions expected in the southeast. That's not so much because some cold air is coming in. It's more likely that we'll have more of a humid flow coming in off the Gulf more often than not. That will generally keep things perhaps a little bit below average there. But overall, the jet stream should be fairly well off to the north, so no big intrusions of cold air really expected so much in August. Now, the focus of the heat in the west has a lot to do with the drought situation, where right now we've got extreme and even exceptional cases of drought in the center part of the country and even in the west. And that will have that feedback for warmer than average conditions in August in the west, and that will likely continue into September. If you look at our September forecast, we have the greatest odds, I think, for warmer than average conditions in the west likely as well, with the jet stream primarily with the ridge out west and maybe a little bit of a dip there in the central part of the country for some slightly cooler than average conditions moving into to the Great Lakes from time to time, but overall looking fairly warm.